So it's been a few days. I'm not wearing the usual getup, but that's okay. I just wanted to get back to recording. I want to get back to helping with what I can and what I know, and passing along some information that might be valuable to other sales professionals. So stick around for what we call the Valley of Despair. So what is the Valley of Despair? It sounds horrible, it sounds traumatizing, and honestly, it captures a lot of people. To put it in the most basic term possible, the Valley of Despair is where most people get stuck when they start a new venture. Right? You start a new project, you start a new venture. Let's say you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to do some affiliate marketing. The Valley of Despair is usually where people stop and they fail. And here's why. So when you start looking at a new project, right? So let's say you're up here. It's going to be a big U, right? So let's say you're up here. This is called uninformed optimism, right? So this is the peak. This is where you're seeing all the people online talking about, we're going to go with affiliate marketing. They're talking about this online thing. They're talking about affiliate marketing. They're saying, I'm making like $10,000 a week, a day, a month, whatever. So uninformed optimism is, this is great. This is fantastic. I can do this, right? A lot of people go down that path and get really excited, and they get really excited really fast for the proposition of being successful. Right? After uninformed optimism, what you have is one step down. It's called informed pessimism. Right? So this is where people start to go and realize that there's a lot of work involved. Right? There's a lot of work that comes into affiliate marketing. There's a lot of work that comes into drop shipping. There's a lot of work that comes into this new thing. And it turns from it turns from this optimism into pessimism, where people start to think, shit, this takes a lot of time, right? It's not just a get rich quick scheme. Nothing is. And then in the U, so right now you're here, and then the next step is the very bottom of the valley, right? So this is why it's called the Valley of Despair. And the very bottom of that valley is the Valley of Despair. And this is where things are the hardest, right? This is where you've put in videos. This is where you've put in time, you put in effort to learn, to develop a channel, to grow a social media account, to try to get things going, right? Let's say you've been working at it for a month, 2 months, 6 months, almost a year, right? It takes time. But you're sitting there and you're seeing all these people be successful, and you're going, why can't I be successful? And what happens is you get desperate, right? You start to fall into despair, where you don't think you're going to be successful doing whatever it is you're doing. And what happens here, this is the worst part. What happens here is most people sit in the Valley of Despair and they start to see new opportunities. They start to see someone over there doing something different. So let's say you're doing affiliate marketing and you're struggling. It's hard. You're spending money, you're spending time, you're spending hours. And then you see the guy over there on TikTok or on Twitter or Facebook saying, hey, try drop shipping. It's easy. Okay. So now you go back up to uninformed optimism, right? And uninformed optimism is a nice place to be, because you've got all this potential, you've got all this world in front of you could open up. And what happens, unfortunately, is that you get uninformed optimism and you fall into the valley, and then you go back up to uninformed optimism, you fall into the valley, back up, fall into the valley. I know this is ringing true for a lot of people. Everybody has done this. I've done this. Everybody's done this. What you need to do is figure out how to get from that valley into the next step, which is informed optimism. So informed optimism is where you know how much work it is. You know how much effort it takes. You know the time you're going to need to spend to be successful. But you're also optimistic, because you start to see that light at the end of the tunnel, right? You start to see what it is that's offered once you're able to get past this despair, right? Past that valley and that dip, that low spot. So once you get into informed optimism, you start to build, right? You start to build, and usually build pretty quickly once you get in there, because you learn how to advertise, you learn how to post videos, you learn how to do all the rest of the stuff that makes you successful at what you're doing, right? And then finally, to complete the U, when you get to the top on the left side of the U, or the finish line, this is success, right? So it takes a long time. There's no measurement of time between uninformed optimism all the way down to the valley, all the way back up to success. There's no way to really coordinate how long that takes. All you can do is work towards that success. So, guys, that's the Valley of Despair. I wanted to put that out here because that's something I find over and over again when I'm working with people in new industries, in new niches. They don't stick with things long enough to get out of that valley. And this is the same for everything. It's from affiliate marketing to drop shipping to building a blog to building a Facebook page to trading stocks to day trading to sales, everything. It all takes time, right? It takes time. You have to grow out of that valley, start to see how to improve things, become more efficient, and eventually get to success. So thanks for joining me, guys. This was a quick one on the Valley of Despair.